Jürgen, apart from the result, what was the most frustrating part of tonight for you?
Oh, how long do we have time? To start, obviously. Not only the goal, but the start in general. So it's the good thing. First of all, congratulations to Southampton; they deserved it. The good thing about Southampton, you know exactly what you get. So it's not you actually cannot be surprised, but we looked surprised still, and that was, of course, in the beginning just how we played football, how we brought ourselves in struggles where we lost the balls. How I said, credit to Southampton, they do really well, but it's still not rocket science, it's only football, and we should have done much better in these moments, just passing-wise, because if you break this kind of pressing, then it's kind of a risk, actually, because they invest a lot in these moments. If you can pass through, and that's possible, then they run a lot without getting anything, and so we played in their hands with the start, then 1-0, and then they put a lot of work in, we as well, but then our decision making was then just not good, and that is how it is when you don't have the momentum. Then decision making is really important, even more important, because you really think about things. You saw situations where we were outstanding, how we came through to touchline, stuff like this. Then didn't do the right movements. We're not free in the box. We're not exactly there. So we should have had much more chances with the football we played then, but we didn't have enough chances really. So like big chances, and that's it.
I could hear you getting agitated with your fullbacks. Even Trent Alexander-Arnold, who gave the ball away, unlike him, 38 times, which is more than any player in the Premier League this season. It was a difficult night for them, and I could see why they weren't allowed to bomb on because of the centre-backs that you had. Was that the idea?
No. In the build-up it was the idea, but oh my God. Against two strikers, it makes sense to build up with three. So, and that could be Trent, that could have been Thiago, whatever. Robbo should have been slightly higher. That they were not, whatever you said, bombing on, up and down the line, was because we passed the ball in the wrong moments. So that means, by the way, Robbo's second half was constantly on his bike. That was okay. Look. These players, my God, they are outstanding players. They're super boys, I know that. But tonight, one didn't start well, and Robbo's first situation is he wants a foul, and then he grabs him, and I don't like these things. I feel that only shows you are not ready from the start. And yes, that's what I told them. But for the second half, that was all done and fine. So we wanted really to start new if you want to win the second half. And we had then the moments for it, but we have to say, in the end, if you don't create with the situations you have, if you don't create bigger chances, then it's difficult to score. I said already, right? Southampton deserved to win, but I think that Sadio Mane doesn't get a penalty tonight is
was that the only one you were unhappy with?
Come on, you all know that the handball is, what can we say about that? So I know about the discussions, and defenders have to keep their arms here, but he had the arms there, and it's a goal scoring opportunity, and the ball is then deflected, and I have no idea. They didn't need a second. When I turned around and asked the fourth, do we check it? We did already. So, what can I say about that? Again, it's not an excuse for the performance, but in the end, you can get a point as well when you don't perform on your highest level. For us, in a moment, tonight it was not possible, so we have to take that. And it's not a super moment. So it's just we really feel it, and I think tonight we have to feel it. That was not enough, and now we have to show a reaction. That's how it is.
Just finally, because it's freezing, and I'll let you go, but
I'm not cold.
I have. You've said it before, you can't click every time. You can't be at your brilliant, fantastic best every single time, and sometimes you can't explain why you haven't clicked as you would like them to.
Yeah. I cannot. Oh, it's not difficult to explain it, but you can click much better than we did tonight. And you can make your life more difficult when you don't start well. Our dressing room, you should see it before the game. It was like really lively, and everything is like my whole meeting gets repeated again and again and again by the players themselves. And it's what do we have to do? Go there, do this, do this. A few things are clear that it will not immediately work, and you get that. You did it, that Thiago defensively in 1 or 2 moments is not in the right position. That's normal. But offensively, of course, you expect something from that. It was first 90 minutes and difficult, so that's all okay. I said some things I had to explain. But you should not bring yourself in a situation where you feel the rush in a game constantly, like the pressure. We have to score, we have to score. Football you need a calm mindset as well. Pass that ball here and now, the next one there, and then he's completely free. And these were the moments we didn't find often enough. But these are football problems, and we have to solve them. We will sort it. That's not a question. But for tonight, it's too late.
21 that, of course, began on New Year's Day with wins for West Ham United and Manchester United. It continued on the 2nd for Spurs and Palace, and a point for Brighton and Wolves, and another win for Arsenal at second from bottom West Brom. The 2 games on the 3rd provided victories for Leicester and that stunning one for Manchester City at Stamford Bridge. But defeat for the champions for just the 2nd time in the Premier League this season. They have been beaten by Southampton by 1-0. So the top of the league becomes even more interesting because Liverpool remain 33 points locked with Manchester United. But as you can see, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side have a game in hand. That game in hand is away at Burnley on Tuesday the 12th. If they win that, they go to Anfield next, top of the league. If they avoid defeat, they will still go to Merseyside above Liverpool in the table. United and Liverpool a point ahead of Spurs. They are 3 clear of 4 teams now, including Southampton, who jump into the top 6. The first table of the new year sees Sheffield United still the only team in all 92 league clubs yet to win a game, 2 points from 17 matches. Then come West Brom, who themselves are 6 points from safety. Fulham have 2 games in hand on Brighton above them, but are still 3 away from safety. The first time then since 2016 in the Premier League, Southampton have beaten Liverpool. They've done it with their 8th clean sheet of the season as well, and one for the returning goalkeeper, Fraser Forster.
Fraser, what a start to the year. 3 points against the champions. Your manager fell to his knees. How much does that mean to you?
No, brilliant. Obviously a fantastic result, against a very good team. Had to work very hard second half for that. We were kind of camped on the edge of our box for 45, but we hung on in there. Good to get the clean sheet. Great result, and just keeps that momentum and keeps us ticking over.
You mentioned the clean sheet, having made just the 1 appearance since Boxing Day 2017. How tough is it to suddenly step up, start in the Premier League again against Liverpool? Any nerves out there?
Not really nerves, just a bit rusty. Obviously, on loan at Celtic last year, and then obviously the league stopped up there, so not played since I think start of March. So that was my first 90 minutes in 9 months. So just happy to get over the line with a clean sheet. Really, a few cobwebs and stuff, but I'll take the clean sheet and gives me a platform to build on and keep working hard.
You've kept the good defensive record up. It's 6 clean sheets in the last 8 Premier League home games. Bodes well for the rest of the season. Yeah,
definitely. I think we've really improved in that aspect this season. As a group from front to back, we take a lot of pride in keeping clean sheets and working hard, and I think that's a credit to the whole team. And obviously the gaffer's got his tactics bang on, and the lads have really bought into it, and we keep improving week by week. So it's fantastic and a great 3 points.
It was a long time without football for him. He said he had some cobwebs. Are you frustrated then that Liverpool didn't ask him more questions?
Liverpool asked him no questions at all.
Without football for him, he said he had some cobwebs. Are you frustrated then that Liverpool didn't ask him more questions?
Liverpool asked him no questions at all. I'm racking my brain as to think when he was called into action. He had a couple of punches that you thought maybe if he was a bit more confident he would have caught. But hey, you can argue about that. Once he's punched and it's gone 20 metres away from his goal, then argue all you like whether he should have caught. It's safe. That's the main thing, and that's what he did tonight. No frills. He wasn't tested enough, and I think that's what Jurgen Klopp will be most disappointed with.
The goal, Eddie, inside 2 minutes, came from that pressing that you talked about and pinpointed Southampton at the beginning.
Yeah, it was always going to be a question how well they could press and protect their back line, but they got it bang on. They really did. And it starts here with really good intent from the whole team, and everyone has to buy into that or it won't work. They win the ball back, they get the free kick. And we also spoke about James Ward-Prowse's delivery, and although it's not almost maybe how Southampton thought it would go in, but it's an incredible finish. You can't underestimate, for me, how difficult that ball is to control, especially on his wrong side. It's an unbelievable touch.
At no point at all, as we just see the problem that Trent faces there, at no point at all does he look at the goalkeeper, look at the goal, look at anything. He knows where it is. He knows where he is on the pitch. He knows what the goalkeeper is likely to do. And you just get that feel as a centre-forward. He knows where he is on the pitch. He knows what the goalkeeper is likely to do. And you just get that feel as a centre-forward. What's happening all around me? He could have smacked the ball straight into that top corner. It wouldn't have gone in. Alisson would have saved that. It is the only finish, only place on the...
What did you make of the goal threat or lack of it, more to the point?
Yeah, it was a frustrating night. I think that's probably the word that you'd use. And you know what? It's not a one-off. I mean, I've sat in this chair in the last couple of weeks and been saying the same thing. That final third, lacking the pass, even though the run's there, the pass isn't being made. The space here for Trent, oceans of it. And here, Sadio Mane's got a great opportunity. He goes for the harder ball into a body of players, and then, of course, as soon as he gets out here, then it's not really on. So I think a lot of decision-making tonight, and also not only decision-making, but just that quality of touch. Sadio Mane probably in the second half grew into the game a little bit more, but just running the ball out of play. It's just not like them, Eddie.
No, I think that Liverpool will be disappointed by the overall standard of their performance tonight. But I think, their touches weren't quite right. But I just think their rhythm has been knocked. They've missed key players, and now they've got a couple back. But you still look at their two centre-half pairing tonight. And although that's not directly affecting their forward play, it's just that the rhythm isn't there. And I think a lot of the Liverpool's goals you can picture in your head coming from full-back and wide areas just didn't click tonight in those areas. And I think they'll be disappointed because I think they would have seen this as a big chance to get back on track after the previous two games. I
think people underestimate when you say, as we look at we could have spent all night looking at these sort of poor efforts in front of the Southampton goal, but I think people underestimate how important defenders are in terms of your forward play. You just think a defender, all right, are they keeping clean sheets? That's their job on it. It's so far from the truth. If you've got a good, solid back, you've got two players, Gomez and Van Dijk, for example, all of a sudden, can't tell you the difference that makes to Trent and to Andy Robertson straight away. They think, right, we can trust those. They've got pace, they've got strength. It's fine. Even 2v2 is absolutely fine. Midfielders, you can start playing more aggressive midfielders, players that like to break and like to score goals. And all of a sudden, you get a little bit of nervousness. Fullbacks come back a couple of yards. You start playing two sitters instead of one. All of a sudden, it just the dominoes start to fall. And I just think people underestimate how important it is, not from a defending point of view, from attacking a point of view when Van Dijk and Gomez aren't there.
No, 100% agree with Michael. I think when you attack as a team, people always naturally look at the attackers first. But when I was building my team, I always looked at the centre-backs distribution to the full-backs. And once you get that relationship from your centre-back to your full-back, there's so much trust in those pairings that then that affects your wide man, then it affects your centre-forward. And the speed of which they get the ball is key, because it means that the opposition are overloaded. And you just look at a lot of Liverpool's attacks tonight, it was just probably 1 second slower than it would normally be, which gave Southampton a chance to regroup.
So it's almost as if, no disrespect to them, those two full-backs are thinking, I've got Henderson and Fabinho there, not Gomez and Van Dijk.
I don't necessarily think it's as clear as that. I think it will just be the speed of which they're receiving the ball. And this is no fault of the two centre-backs. They're doing a really good job for the team. It's just they're not natural centre-backs. So naturally, they might take that split second longer to make their decision just because they're in an area that they're not used to being on the pitch. So it's such minute things, and you're talking milliseconds sometimes, but that can be the difference between an attacking player getting the ball in a 1v1 situation rather than a 2v1 against, where Southampton have recovered a defender.
And in terms of going forward, is that the safety net that they often have, a Van Dijk and a Gomez in that one-on-one situation?
Yeah, the confidence it gives you going forward. You think of the great teams over the years, they can all do that. They can all defend 1v1 at the back, 2v2 at the back. If you've got pace, like Liverpool have, when everyone's fit, then they can attack as a whole team, as a whole unit, and we've seen it. We've seen it so many times. We did a run before the game as well, highlighted. They can attack as a whole team, as a whole unit, and we've seen it. We've seen it so many times. We did a run before the game as well, highlighting the difference that it makes. It's chalk and cheese, and you know, if you've just got what the problem is, the game is so at the top level now. It's minute details of the difference between success and failure, and if you just not quite got it, then all of a sudden, look at Liverpool for the last 2 seasons. Who would have thought that, you know, 1 or 2 players missing, and all of a sudden it can fall down like that? Now, of course, it's not so much doom and gloom. They're still sat at the top of the table, but visually, we've watched them against West Brom, we've watched them against, you know, Fulham, watched them against Newcastle, we're watching them now against Southampton, all fresh in the memory, and it's always the same thing. They've just not got that spark at the moment.